Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in Rocket Pool and Ethereum ecosystems. My name is Wack. Today is August 15th, and today's episode is going to cover a summary of the community call talking about Saturn. We're going to be talking about the rETH discount. We're also going to be talking on the Ethereum side about Citigroup building on Ethereum. We're going to be talking about more growth for layer 2s. And we're going to be talking about some FUD that is going around about Ethereum right now, and a whole lot more as well. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So we're going to get started here with a couple of pieces of news from the Rocket Pool Twitter account. The first one is them highlighting the community call. It took place in Discord yesterday at around 9 p.m. Eastern time. And it was Langers talking to Ken about all the things that are coming with Saturn 1 and how the progress is going, how the audits are going, how the experience has been so far. And it looks like everything is go, 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 which is really, really cool to see. And yeah, it was really good to hear from Langers, just to know that, everything is looking good. Took some questions from the community and all that good stuff. So it was really great that we got this update. And it looks like everything at the moment looks good to go for October 29th. And they were talking about how the auditing process has been decent so far, and they've not seen any major bugs and that kind of stuff. Sadly, I wasn't able to listen to the whole call, and I've not seen that the recording is available on YouTube yet. Maybe that's my fault. I might have missed it, but there might be other things that I missed. So go and give that a listen if you want. But from the part that I did listen to, it looks like everything is go, 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 which is good. Okay, next we have this update again from the Rocket Pool Twitter account, which I want to say has been doing some really, really cool stuff recently, like really cool stuff. The frequency of tweets is up, the quality of the tweets is really good, and there's just some really good info there. And of course, they shared a couple of my episodes as well, so I'm not going to complain about that. But yeah, this is really nice stuff. But here they're talking about the smoothing pool, which of course is a really cool quality of staking with Rocket Pool, is that you can smooth your execution rewards. And it says that's another $186,000 that went into the smoothing pool. Smoothing pool node operators don't get lucky with volatile execution layer rewards. Simply opt into the smoothing pool and claim your share of the pooled ETH every 28 days. Free to join, there's no fees involved. So yeah, it's really cool. And of course, if you are starting as a new node operator and validator, then you really, really, really should join the smoothing pool, because otherwise you won't be getting your full commission amount that you are owed. So yeah, that's really nice. So if you're not in the smoothing pool, definitely get in there. Okay, moving over to the Rocket Pool Discord now, and there's a couple of pieces of information I want to share with you all. The first one is that rETH is at a discount, and it looks like this discount is going to be here for a few days or weeks. Yesterday's episode, I showed you about the Euler Finance and how they are letting you do looping, and that kind of thing normally can be really profitable as you head towards closing of a discount back to zero. And then the question is, right, when does this close? When does it go back to zero? Well, there are a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about that. So there's a discount right now is 0.754%, which is overall around 6 months, I think, worth of staking rewards. So, it's not an insignificant amount. And it looks like a lot of people kind of realize this. So yesterday, Steely posted this information saying Rocket Pool exit queue results. So there are currently 278 mini pools in the exit queue, which is, a fair chunk of validators. And that is 0.66% of Rocket Pool's validators. So it's definitely not an insignificant number of validators, and the total that's exiting is around 9,000 ETH. And yeah, they're going to that it looks like they want to arb the exit. Now here there's a bunch of node addresses. There's 10 of them, and the amount of validators that they're exiting, but it looks like they're going to be arbing the exit. So if you wanted to arb, it looks like you're not going to have much of an opportunity, and there's going to be some interesting dynamics with there being a discount for Rocket Pool's rETH. Now, going into the peak of the bull market, I expect that all LSTs are going to depeg. Now that, if we work with that standard assumption, like I don't know how much they're going to depeg by. And the reason why they would depeg is because people will be exiting their validators in order to sell their ETH. They want to time the peak of the market. So as they're exiting, then the exit queue is going to get really long. So LST services, normally what they do is they exit validators in order to bring their LSTs back to peg. And people want to sell their LSTs right away. So if they go to other, liquid staking companies like Lido, for example, and say, hey, I want to get my protocol rate for my STETH, it might, take a month to get that, as it comes out from the queue. Now, that person, instead of waiting a month, they'll eat the discount, like 2%, 3%, 5%, whatever it might be, if they think that that's the top of the price, because by the time the month comes along, the ETH price might be way less. So they will just sell at the market. And if enough people start doing this, then what will happen is that it'll cause other people to say, oh, there's something wrong with this. So they'll start exiting too. And then it'll be like a cascade, because people who have looped, their rewards, they borrowed against them and then, staked more and borrowed again and staked more. Those people will start getting liquidated, and it's a bad situation. So what do you do in this situation? Like, what's going to happen with Rocket Pool? Now, with Rocket Pool, the situation is slightly different. Now, because we're at a depeg, I just showed you it's nearly, 3/4 of a percentage point. And we've already got people exiting to try to arb that. So that'll bring it back to zero. We've got the looping thing that, should maybe eat some of the arb away as well, because people will be buying the rETH, and that will drive the price up, getting closer to peg. Now, what about when it actually goes back to zero? Then what happens? Well, with the Saturn upgrade coming at the end of October, I anticipate that a lot of node operators will be exiting all their validators, because they'll have to exit their node in order to come back in as a mega pool. And I think there'll be a big chunk of people who will be doing that right at the beginning and trying to time that so they're getting into mega pools on day one. Now, what will happen with all those exiting validators is that they'll go into the deposit pool, and if not arbing the exit, if there's an exit, they'll arb it. The first few hundred might arb the exit, but then after that, it'll just fill up the deposit pool, and then the deposit pool will start overflowing, because there could be like 100,000 ETH potentially in the deposit pool. That will be waiting then for people to come back in as mega pools. Now that will last 2 days, 1 day pretty much. Like as soon as Saturn Zero comes along and mega pools are activated, then the people who are ready with their ETH and waiting, they will jump on that right away and try to get that get the ETH that's there and spin up their validators as mega pools. That I think that's going to happen on day one pretty much. So any amount of ETH that is in the deposit pool will be gone on day one. After that, then I think that we'll go, depending on what the situation is in the wider crypto market by then, it might be that then you get a discount on Rocket Pool, on rETH, and maybe that's when that second wave of people will exit their validators to try to arb that potentially. But that's just the way that I'm thinking about it. I don't know if that's how it's actually going to work or not, but yeah, that's just my speculation on what the dynamic might look like. Okay, and yesterday we covered that RPL hit a new local low against ETH, and it did that again overnight. And let me just see if that's actually still the low, because I think this is the low that I covered in yesterday's episode. So let me see if that was the right command. Sorry about this. I thought that I had the right piece of information. Yeah, no, that was the low from yesterday. So we actually haven't hit a new low. That was sneaky, feeding me bad information. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go to Ethereum news now. And we have some ETH news here. The first news is Citigroup are looking to build on Ethereum. And here, CryptoGucci says, Citigroup, the third largest US bank, is building stablecoin custody, payment services, and positioning to custody Ethereum ETFs alongside other crypto ETFs. So here's what Citi is planning. Their custody reserve for stablecoin issuers, launch payment solutions powered by stablecoins, and provide custody for cryptocurrency ETF issuers. So they'll tap into that $150 billion stablecoin market on Ethereum and record ETF flows. So it looks like they really want to get on top of this. And of course, this is coming to Ethereum, which is really, really cool to see. I think that, the big banks, after the Genius Act has gone through, they are feeling much better about dealing with stablecoins and crypto now, where especially after clarity gets passed, hopefully next month, then they're going to feel much better about cryptos. You'll be seeing more and more of these kind of headlines coming through about big companies wanting to, work with crypto and, of course, by extension, work with Ethereum. Well, specifically work with Ethereum, I think, before anything else. Okay, now L2s are the place to be. And if you are building, any kind of crypto thing, I think nowadays people are looking how they can build on L2s. And here, there's a Unichain announcement yesterday where Unichain said they now have 200 millisecond blocks, subblocks. They're live on Unichain. So if you are trading on Unichain, you will get faster, faster execution speed. You'll feel it to be faster than anywhere else in crypto right now. Like that is literally so fast that you'll get the notification pretty much before you stop clicking the button on your wallet. Like if you blink, you'll miss it pretty much. That's how fast it is, which is truly amazing. And Ryan Sean Adams here has a take about this, saying that this is the Ethereum barbell Vitalik recently spoke about playing out. So Ethereum L2s will be for sub-second block times, beating other fast all L1s at their own game for high velocity DeFi. And then Ethereum L1 will have sub-minute block times, 12 seconds, and maybe getting down to less in Glamsterdam or maybe after that. And then those will stay, slightly longer, but that will help decentralization and maximally secure it as a world ledger. So that is really, really cool. And now you're seeing Base, they're using the Flashbox technology as well to get really fast execution. And Arbitrum's been using this for a while. So the L2s are basically getting better so much that they are better experience in some ways, or a lot of ways, than all layer ones that are, that purport to be fast. Well, these guys are faster than all of them basically, which is really, really cool. Okay, we got this really cool post from Ronin yesterday, kind of talking about how they're coming home to Ethereum. It says Ready Layer 2, which is a nice play on Ready Player 1, they it's a gaming blockchain. So they said they're coming back to Ethereum. Ethereum Twitter account reposted saying welcome home, and Jihos, who is the founder of Axie, co-founder of Axie and Ronin, he says, why Ethereum? He says the Ethereum Foundation has restructured. It's now lean, nimble and responsive. The new leadership of under Tomas is locked in and impressive. Ethereum is winning the war for Wall Street's attention and capital. Running an L2 has become increasingly affordable due to DA solutions like EigenCloud, and leveraging Ethereum security will allow us to make Ronin's tokenomics more effective and reward builders that bring real traction to the chain. So this is really, really cool to see that Ronin are migrating on becoming an L2. It looks like they're going to be using a non-blobs for their data, but that's fine. Like their throughput needs are really, really high. But with data availability, that's one of those things that you can change it quite easily to make it into blobs instead, and I guess technically move it away from blobs if you want as well. But you get different security guarantees with that. But this is really, really good news. So welcome home, Ronin. Like awesome stuff. Jihos then here shared a story about how he got into ETH and crypto and what it was like to find those early communities and be a part of them, and then building Axie Infinity, the game that was so popular in 2021, and then Ronin Network to kind of build out a whole suite of games. I saw a really cool take here from Vivek of Etherealize, saying that Ronin are kind of positioning themselves as the Nintendo of crypto. This is the home of gaming. This is where you can go to play all these really cool games, and with the crypto elements involved. So I think that it's a really cool move from Ronin. I don't actually hold any Ronin tokens, or I've never actually played any Ronin games, so I'm not I'm not talking from experience or being paid to shill this or anything like that. But it's really cool that more and more people want to come into Ethereum and build on Ethereum. So good stuff, Ronin. Okay, and then Benji kind of like wraps it up here, saying that on L1 becoming an L2 is the only time the sequel is better than the original. Now, ICO Beast replied by saying Ronin coded, like, are you talking about Ronin here? And he says there's going to be more coming soon. So that's really exciting that, people from Ethereum now know that other L1s that are kind of out there are coming to become L2s and building on Ethereum instead, which is absolutely awesome. Now here, Jihos then replied with a salute and sharing the Ronin is coming home to Ethereum thing, and then Benji replied by saying, "This is just the beginning, brother." So this is really, really cool, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of really good stuff coming Ethereum's way, hopefully in the not distant future. Okay, this morning, trading started on crypto, and everything's kind of been down. It's been one of those like horrible mornings. It looks like yesterday's PPI numbers, kind of spooked the markets a little bit, in crypto especially. And people, like, the markets were able to bounce back yesterday, but I think there might have been some kind of, games going on here with like whales and shrimp and trying to like liquidate people, because this morning, when the markets opened, we got a very quick little price bump, but then almost right away it got sold into, and the price is actually lower. Like right now, at the time of recording, they're around $4,418 for ETH, which is a fair chunk lower than where it was yesterday. So that's a real shame, but I think we're going to be okay. But like one of the things that happened then today is that there was a lot of trading happening on ETHA, which is BlackRock's ETF fund, and they are saying that it's leading all trading volume this morning. Like in the first half hour of trading, it was the number one traded asset in all markets in the US, and beating every single ETF on the market. So it's not just crypto ETFs, it's all of them. And he says Wall Street isn't coming, they're already here. So if you actually have a look, so this is ETF trading. It was just super like active in terms of volume, and then the Bitcoin one was actually second, and then only after that did you get like other ETFs out there. So yeah, these are great vehicles for them. Like they love the volatility, the volume that comes with it, and especially the fees that come with it. Okay, let's talk about some FUD that's been going around with Ethereum these last couple of days from Bitcoiners mostly, and that is about exiting the validator queue. Now, Cointelegraph put out this story yesterday saying about $3.31 billion in ETH, or around 718,000 ETH is currently stuck in Ethereum's exit queue, with withdrawals estimated to take over 12 days. So it's actually not 12 days, that's just until you get to the front of the line. After that, you got to wait for your sweep to happen, for you to get like all your rewards and everything, and that could take up to 19 days between. Yeah, it can add 2 to 8 days more than the amount of days that it says on the validator queue website. So you have to wait for a while, right? And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier with the rETH discount, is one of the reasons why. Well, Rocket Pool doesn't have a redemption method in protocol. We're working on that, and hopefully it'll be here soon. But with protocols that have in-house redemptions, this is what I mean, is that they have to wait before they can get that ETH in hand and before they can redeem it for customers. So some of them will just take the haircut, sorry, and take the loss and sell it on the market, even if it's at a discount. So there might be an opportunity to buy some LST tokens, like at 10+% discount. I think at least 1 or 2 of them probably will depeg. Like we've seen STE depeg, I think 9 or 10% in the previous bear market, but that was when withdrawals weren't activated yet, so there was no way to kind of redeem it at the protocol level. So people only had the secondary market, right? But that discount was a huge one, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a discount to similar levels again at some point in the near future. But this is the area of FUD. So people are saying, all this ETH is going to come onto the market and it's going to be sold and it's going to cause sell pressure, blah, blah, blah. And there are actually a couple of, well, we'll look at that in a second. But here, if you have a look at the Validator Q website, you can see that this is actually the longest way ever to exit validators. The red line is for exits, and this is the highest it's ever been. So, yeah, and the amount of wait time is the highest it's ever been as well, with nothing being comparable. So we'll see that the people are exiting. However, there are people entering as well. Like the queues aren't quite as long. It's a 6.5 day queue. So the immediate thought is, like people are exiting their validators, they're just giving their ETH to Wall Street, who are then staking it. But the numbers don't quite match up. Here's the numbers have been updated as well. There's now 830,000 ETH waiting to leave, and that is about a 14-day and 10-hour wait at those kind of numbers. Now, the FUD that's going around is a couple of different things. One is that all this ETH is going to be sold. And two, that this is a problem with the design of Ethereum, and Ethereum is congested, blah, blah, blah. And that is the reason why this is happening. Now, I'm not going to share the actual Bitcoiners with their stupid takes that they have. I'm not going to bring up their tweets. But here, Anthony Sassano did a good job of kind of highlighting one of them. So here, Jacob King says, $3.3 billion in ETH is currently stuck in Ethereum's exit queue due to extreme network congestion. Withdrawals are estimated to take 12 to 15 days, the future of finance. And then he had some other really dumb takes as well. Sassano actually replied by saying, now they're flooding the validated exit queue because they don't understand that this is the way it was intentionally designed at the protocol level. It has nothing to do with extreme network congestion. We're going so much higher. So, of course, Sassano is right. We only let a certain number of validators enter and exit per epoch. And this was by design, right? Because by having all the validators exit at once becomes a risk for finality. So we have this staggered exit basically to kind of make sure that the whole network stays up and running the whole time. And yeah, that's just the way it is. And then the second thing is that, this ETH is all going to come onto the market. And Adriano here had a really good point. He says that ETH staking unlocks have been maxed out for the last 30 days. Now look at ETH's price action over the same period. ETH climbed from $3,115 to $4,750 right before this market-wide correction. That was a 52% gain in just 1 month. The current validator exit queue is telling us that the staking unlock rate will stay maxed out for the next 14 days. That's at least 14 days of the same dynamic we've seen in the past month. Whether you fully grasp that what's actually happening or not is irrelevant. Look at the net result, use your brain. You see the exit queue is bullish AF. And then Sebastian here actually added some more information. He says that some of this is on stakers, like, selling it to Wall Street, and or selling it, giving it back to Aave to kind of close their loops that they have. And some of it is Wintermute borrowing it and selling it. And then this could actually be bullish because Wintermute at some point will have to buy back the borrowed rETH. So yeah, it might actually end up causing bullish catalyst instead of a negative one. But yeah, I think this is actually a lot of a nothing burger. The amount of ETH that actually comes through per day is 30 or 40,000, and that is being eaten up like nobody's business. So I don't think we have to worry too much. Like, this ETH that's waiting right now is 830,000 over 15 days. So you have to think, right, like, how much of that is actually coming onto the market to be sold. That's 50,000 ETH a day if all of that's going to be sold. And I don't think all of that's going to be sold. I know people who are exiting their validators just because they want to make sure that they're liquid, because they see that, there might be a long exit queue later. They want to be liquid in case they want to sell their ETH if their price hits their life-changing targets or whatever targets they have for themselves. Okay, a couple of things to round out with. And one is this funny thing that I saw from Fabrice, and he says, name one ETH maxi that turned into a BTC maxi. and then he waits and he says exactly. And it's actually a really interesting point because a lot of people, the Bitcoin camp have been like really loud and vocal recently, talking about how Bitcoin is the best, and Ethereum's trash, and the normal stuff that they do. Like they ignored us for a couple of years because Bitcoin was doing well and ETH was doing quite badly, like relatively speaking. And I think, they were just like, yeah, whatever. But now they're out on the attack because they can see that ETH is a real threat. And this it's really cool that, you get this kind of way that, people, when they find the community that they feel part of, they don't want to leave. And that's how it is with ETH. You very, very rarely see someone who is an ETH maxi who then, says, oh, I'm going to this other protocol or this other layer one. There have been instances where people have kind of like moved, like quite a famous one was Max Resnick, who worked at Consensus, and I don't think he was an ETH maxi really, but then he went to work at Solana. That's like one of the few that I can think of. There were a couple of people who were quite unhappy with like the Ethereum Foundation and like just general ETH stuff at the end of 2024, and they were like, we're going to remove the .eth from our names. So they did that. Like Eric Connor was one of them. Anti-prosynthesis was another one. But they're all back now, so it's okay. That's all forgiven. It's just like a little family squabble, like we're all good now. And finally, I want to end with this post here. Jeff Park says, what's more fun than making money? And that's making money with friends. He says, find your community. It's more important than you think and more urgent than you know. And I just wanted to like highlight this because I think this is really, really good advice. If you are in crypto right now, and if you're watching Rocket Fuel, it's most likely the case that you've been in crypto for a while. I don't think there are too many newbies who are watching Rocket Fuel at this moment in time. Even the people who had kind of stopped watching and have come back and are watching again. Hi, welcome back. It's mostly people who were watching before. I don't think the net new audience probably accounts for less than 10% of my viewership. People who got in the last couple of months, there are just not many new people here yet. We're hoping that they're going to be here in the next weeks and months to come. But this is so important that you find your community. Now, I'm part of a couple of different communities and sub-communities with those communities. And, in a couple of group chats where we talk about crypto. So I'm talking to a lot of people about crypto. And I think it's so important to have people on a similar wavelength to you and share similar perspectives that, you can go to them and you can provide support to each other. If you're having a red day, they can help you like see that, we're in the bull market, things should be okay, hopefully. If you are looking for trading advice or some kind of ideas of, what coins you could be picking up, if you are into that kind of stuff, you can get that information from your friends as well. There's always someone in the group who like has the latest alpha and is like digging for, the new trends and new coins that are out there. Having that is a good way to make a lot of money, hopefully, especially if, they've got their ear to the ground and like they can pick up like, new tokens and new tickers as they're coming up. There's a possibility that, you could make really good multiples on some of these tokens. Of course, it's risky as well and you can lose money. As always, this is not financial advice, any of that kind of stuff. But I think just having people to like cheer things on with you on those green days is such a good feeling that you don't get by just watching the charts on your own or just like, just going on and living your normal life. And like, if you're watching Rocket Fuel, I don't think you're one of those people. You're much more likely to be one of those people if you came across Jeff's tweet here. But I know a lot of people who watch Rocket Fuel are either in the Rocket Pool Discord or in the Daily Grade Discord. Shout outs to those communities, or on Reddit's ETH Finance. It used to be ETH Finance. I'm still saying that. In Reddit's Ethereum subreddit, or on some like Twitter kind of communities, loose communities, whether you just like kind of follow each other mutuals or whether you're in like a Telegram group or whatever. I think it's really, really good to find a couple of people that you vibe with and just get into a group and make a private chat or whatever, like whatever medium you're happy with, to just have people there to talk to about like every day, and share memes and jokes and green candles and excitement about the price. And it's really, really, really important that you do that. Like, I think that it just makes everything so much better in terms of like your enjoyment of crypto. And the thing is like, so far crypto's been going on these like 8-year cycles. And I don't know if it's going to continue or not, right? Like, it's always a discussion, like, is this the super cycle? And I'm of the opinion that, we're going to keep going until something in the economy breaks. and whether that's in 3 months, keeping that 4-year cycle going, or whether it's in 6 months or 9 months or 1 year, like I don't know when it's going to happen, but I have a feeling that something is going to break in the economy, and at the time it breaks, that's when the music will stop, and you better hope that you have a seat to sit on. But what I'm trying to say is that if you can get through these next months, it's going to be really good for you. And the best way to do that is by having that support network and a group of friends that you can make money with. And some of the groups that I'm in are with people who I've met. There are a couple of groups that I'm in with people that I met, and there's some groups where it's people that I haven't met, and they just work. Like everyone's on the same page, everyone's sharing the same goals, and you're out there trying to help each other and help yourself, and I think really good things happen that way. So if you are not part of a community, I really recommend that you do become part of a community, and even if you're not there all day long, like some people are, like I am, then you can just check in and say hi, and just having that every day as a base, like just getting the lay of the land of like crypto, I think is really, really useful. So that's my advice, and Jeff Park's advice as well, is that if you are in crypto and if you are happy that you're making money, it'll be even better if you do that with friends. So on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing weekend ahead. Hopefully we'll be back to green candles for ETH. Maybe, hopefully, by the time I record again, we'll be hitting all-time highs. But that is to be seen another day. And until then, I hope you get out there and touch some grass and enjoy time with people who love you. So yeah, bye everyone.